All right, so let's talk syllabus. We got the course description, read that on your own. Stuff that you need, we're just going to hit the highlights. Headphones, we'll be doing a lot of videos here and there, so you want to have your own headphones. Wireless if you want to use your Chromebook or phone. The desktops in there do not do Bluetooth, so you have to use wired for that. We have some in the room. If you need pen or pencil, notebook, nothing out of the ordinary, folder, small binder. We do much of the work is digital, but occasionally we'll have handouts and you'll get tests back that are hard copies. So you want to keep that stuff somewhere. Course units. So what we're going to learn this year, we got motion forces up first, followed by some conservation laws, so momentum, energy. Then second semester, quarter three, we dive into fields and circuits, so gravitation, electrostatics, electromagnetism, circuits. And we finish it all up with heat and waves, the transfer of energy and info at the very end. The digital classroom. So obviously we're using Google Classroom. We have our own, my own website is bit.ly.jcentral, and that'll have this syllabus and any calendar and links and updates of stuff we do along the way. We won't go to that day to day, but Infinite Campus for grades, and our online textbook is OpenStax Physics. It's available for free online, which is one reason we use it. You can see it on the web all the time. You can get a PDF of it if you so choose, though I find the online one easier to use. You can get a hard copy on Amazon if you're so inclined, but the online version will be fine. Really, it's just one of many resources we're going to use throughout the course. There's also physicsclassroom.com, Khan Academy. We're going to pull from a lot of different sources. Physics is the same. Positive physics we're going to use a lot. That's our problem-solving home base. So this gives you individualized problems as you go that are skills-based, broken down, and scaffolded along the way. So there's getting started video for that. We'll talk more about that when we get to it. Policies, procedures. The course is roughly self-paced. And I say roughly self-paced because the due dates indicate the pace, so as not to get too far behind. But there's not going to be any penalty for late work. I do ask, though, that you get caught up by the unit test. So when we're done with motion up front, all the activities that deal with motion, when we take the unit test, anything that was missing now becomes 0. From the activities. So we want to make sure you stay on top of that, and it's important to do those assignments before the test so you get the benefit from them. Revisions are good to go. So as your knowledge and skills improve, so will the grade. I want to make sure those stay in sync. So projects, some activities, some labs that we do, not all, but have portions that if you improve upon them and show that you know more things, that will improve the grade, and you've taken feedback and then improves the grade. Tests, we are going to do retakes, but not of the same test. We'll have a different test of equal difficulty. But in order to take that, there's some reflection that you have to do on the original one, and then do some work to address those challenges from before, relearn some of the material. Consulting paper.co is an option, as well as some other ways to do that, to show that you've learned the material again. So you can't just take it right away. And then within a short time after that, we need to schedule when you're going to take the second test, either flex or study or after school. We'll find times around that. Phones are off and away. That is our policy here. It does make sense to use as a tool occasionally. There will be things you need to take a picture of or use as a calculator or watching videos, as is the case, but it is a tool, not a distraction. You'll be reminded the first time, then the phone goes to the office to the end of the day, and then I think the second time the phone goes to the office and your parents have to come and pick it up, and they're probably not happy about that, so let's not make it a problem. Extra help and support. Seek it early and often. That's the whole point. You are learning this, which means you're not going to know things right away, and that's okay. Figure out how to seek help early and often. So connecting with teammates, emailing me, commenting on Google Classroom, public if it's a general question, private comments get pushed out to me so I see what you need when, and it'll link me back to the material if necessary. If you're also working in a larger doc and there's something you want me specifically to look at, you can comment in that doc and use the little @ symbol and do @jjasinski@midwayschools.org. And that will pull me right to that section you want me to look at and provide some feedback on. That also pushes out to my email as well, so that's useful. Utilize flex blocks. Days 3 and 6 of the cycle, I'm always in my room 027-3, and paper.co is a greatly underused resource right now. Online tutoring, feedback, helpline. I would suggest, though, you select for specifically science tutors or physics tutors if you can. If you click kind of the general, you might just get anybody, and they don't necessarily have as much background with physics. So try to drill down and get to an actual physics or science help with that. On to assessment. So the assessment category, there's two categories: assessments, activities. Assessments counts for about 90% of things, and that includes labs that we do, tests, and projects. Usually there's about 2 or 3 tests per quarter, on average about 2. And projects usually count the same as a test. So that's kind of like 300-point things that happen in a quarter. Labs go anywhere from 20 to 50 points, depending on the lab and how involved it is. But kind of labs measure very more specific things and have assessments of that. Labs and projects, a lot of times those can be revised, certain sections of them, portions of them. I might not grade every single question, every single part, but I'm going to spot check certain points, key portions of it that are going to let me know, do you understand the material for that? So they won't always be revisable, but portions of them might be. I'll try to make that clear as we go. I talked about tests, being able to retake those or take a new test as you go. The activities category is kind of the catch-all for everything else, all the classwork and the homework and the things you do on positive physics. This is all the low stakes category. So as you're learning, as we're struggling with things and we're working on it and have to go back and revise it and fix it and get up to speed, that's why all of those are low stakes, and you can revise them to improve them. So that's why they're graded for completion. Did you do them? And the kind of the catch-all for everything. I don't really make a distinction between homework and classwork. This is the work. Usually about 80% of the total work you can probably knock out in class if you're on top of things, getting things done, and about 20% of it outside of class. That's a ballpark, depending on your work ethic and how you managed your time. The final grade each quarter is 20%, midterm 10%, and a cumulative final exam worth 10% as well. That means the final exam is over the whole year. Yes, the whole year. Yes, not every other class does it that way, but we do it because everything's kind of connected in what we do. And then there's the actual standards that we're learning. So we can break these down when we get into actually that unit, but that is the syllabus.